again, going back to my 0 to 1 thing, seeing our new leadership team came here and our new CEO came here, we went back to fundamentals for the last 18 months to 24 months. We created, what we call internally. It wasn't really a code name for the project, but we created this thing called 0 to 1, and 0 to 1 meaning, there is a million things we gotta do in the business. Let's start with the first things that are the most important that will really impact the business. And that was 0 to 1. Yeah, we want to do 1 to 2, and 3 to 4, and 4 to 5. Uh, what is more important right now? Being a product guy, maybe people can think, well, the first thing he did was the website, it was the app or whatever. We're just in the process of doing all of that as we speak. Because I've been here for 18 months. For the first 18 months, our focus was make sure that the fundamentals were right. So as our operators were really like just building labor matrices and look at counts and training and scripting and hiring and scheduling and all of that stuff, as they were working really hard and get that stuff, I was building the marketing apparatus. We were building, it's more than just me. All of us were building the marketing apparatus from the bottom. And that started with like, do all of our stores look the same? Are they all activated on the same marketing calendar, the same windows, the same POP? Are we communicating? Showing up is important, but showing up in a consistent way, no matter where you're looking at us. And then we have to prioritize that from like printing assets and putting them in windows with trade dress schematics, so every store looks kind of the same, right? Even though they look slightly different from a marketing standpoint, they'll look the same. And then we did that, and then now we're like, okay, now let's take a look at some other things like our ordering systems. So let's take a look at our digital menu boards, and let's take a look. That's now more than 1 to 2 after we got the 0 to 1 done.
And so what I'm hearing here, which is something I always talk to people, I actually don't word marketing. I like the word growth, like the growth team. Because what I'm hearing you is like your marketing efforts are a lot of them are could be a thin line between operations and marketing. Like you said, like trade dress schematics, making sure the stores all look the same, checking DoorDash and operations. Like I look at that, like that's just growth. Like that's just what we're doing to go. I don't know if it's as easy to say like, oh, that's a marketing task. That's on the marketing team.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting proposition. For us, there is clear delineations between, the execution and operations and kind of what brand or marketing does. But I get your point in regards to like all of us,
We're all on the growth
all
team.
of us are on the growth team.
That's what I say. We're all on the
Right?
growth team.
All of us are on the growth team, and then
Your
there's
busboy, your
responsibilities.
host, your dishwasher. We're all on the growth.
All of us are in that same team. And then for us, what it means is there has to be partnerships because we're part of the same team, right? So it doesn't matter if our team takes incredible pictures and design these beautiful posters that are going to show the new LTO or the new marketing campaign, right? If the stores don't have the clarity on when they have to put them up, what do they have to take down, which windows are they supposed to put them on or not, in what date, right? Uh, it's going to be, and this is for our stores and the franchise stores, it's going to be impossible for them to execute, which means that the customers will never get to see those assets because they were never up on time or in the right places, right? So operations comes to me and says, hey, we'll love to execute this for you. How can you help us to make sure that it is consistent? I'll put a trade dress schematic that ships with all of the assets. So when the restaurants get a box with posters and stickers and things to brand the space, they know exactly what to do. And this is, for many reasons, this has been an issue forever in the restaurant industry. It's never been an issue in the consumer goods industry. Like if you go into a grocery store, the brand has specific things that need to be, these are the flags and these are the orders of how you organize the shelf. And then there's merchandisers in Whole Foods or in Target that will just organize the shelf from top to bottom exactly with an schematic. And if you think about retail, whether it's, I don't know, Levi's or Nike or whatever, they merchandise every shelf on every part of the store, in the same way. And for whatever reason, especially in the multi-unit restaurant space, that principle has never been. So we are using it because it makes total sense. Every time we have a marketing window, there is a series of assets that ship, and we tell exactly them how we want them to organize them to maximize the chance of success.
Awesome. So what are you like? What are you seeing like when you talk about LTOs or special permit? Like what are kind of winners for you? Like what are the ones that you know like, oh, we could pull this out of the hat because this works for us? Like is
Yeah,
there
well, I wish I had that magic hat that will make my life a little easier and do a lot of test and learn. But I think the way we think about it is there has to be a purposeful way of testing things, and you never get 100%. But I think if there is any trick, which is not a trick, is everybody says that they're consumer driven or data driven. Every time we take something that is based on consumer or the way humans behave. Let's stop thinking about a consumer as this idealistic marketing branding. Oh, this is Fred, and Fred has a wife, kids, and he lives in the suburbs, and we're creating these fake personas. And I'm like, I have no friends that look like that Fred that you just described, right? So the way we try to look at this is more, what is natural consumer behavior? What are things that people are doing today that if we're able to intersect that with something, it might make more sense. As long as that something is relevant for a category or for a business, it's easy to execute, easy to source. So I have three examples of that for you, the things that we've already doing and something that like that we just launched. Um, we had a we had done some tests in the past with some crispy chicken product. It was part of the original NAV that opened in 2009. And at some point, the brand had explored the thought of like this chicken schnitzel, which is kind of like it's a chicken breast, kind of like finely filleted, and then breaded, and then fried. Um, and then they put different names on it or whatever. And then at some point, I was challenged with like, hey, do you think we can move this? And I'm like, sure. How would you do that? So we were also exploring the option to do a spicy hummus, and I'm like, okay, there is some synergies here. Number one, let's don't call it whatever you guys were calling it before. It's crispy chicken.
crispy chicken?
Let's just call it crispy chicken. Why?
Thank you.
Because someone is not going to Google or thinking about how do you order this complicated name. It's just crispy chicken.
Thank
So
you.
we call it crispy chicken, and then we said, okay, this is gonna come in market at the same time as our new spicy hummus is coming. So, and we have pita, and we do stuffed pita sandwiches. So why don't we just create a spicy chicken, a spicy crispy chicken sandwich, right? And then, yeah, we didn't, we were not gonna go into the Popeyes, Wings, Dog, Wendy's, Chicken Wars. That was 2 years ago, but that created a behavior where everybody is eating a spicy chicken sandwich,
Spicy crispy chicken sandwich.
and it almost became a thing with your friends. We're like, did you try this new one, or dude, I just found the greatest one, whatever. So like, we already know that people love our sandwiches. This is a great chicken product, pairs really well with the rest of our offerings, and then you just make it spicy by adding a lot of like a spicy hummus to the base. So we just shot it. I'm sure that you can go online, and find pictures of it, and then we just launch it, right? And then literally we call things what they're called. There was a spicy hummus, and then there was a spicy chicken, crispy chicken sandwich, pita sandwich, right? That's it. Uh, it doubled the instances that is queue for us. It doubled the sales of that. Is it just because we're marketing geniuses? No. Is it because it's because of this? I'll tell you what it is. Number one, people were already looking for that type of product. We just needed to call it what people call it. Don't try to teach people how to call something different that is not, right? If it's a completely new thing that they don't know, like, we have harissa. That's one of our spicy sauces. That's a Middle Eastern concept. Well, that's the name of it. It's harissa. It's not that we're going to try to call sriracha something different, or it's not that we're going to try to call buffalo sauce something different, right? It's something that already the public is calling crispy chicken or fried chicken. Well, call it one of those two, because it's almost like you're reverse engineering SEO, and you're already calling something that everybody calls. So that was one. Number two, this was a product that operations and culinary and everybody felt really positive about being able to nail in execution. A lot of testing about how it gets delivered, in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, how it really gets it gets made fresh and you're in the store. We're not holding crispy chicken. You go and you want a crispy chicken sandwich, they drop it in the fryer and then they take it out and they serve it to you, which is just like the best possible quality of product, in the world. It's just delicious. So we call it what the consumers wanted to call it, and kind of like based on a natural consumer behavior that was already happening. Operations nailed it, culinary nailed it, and then we just happened to take beautiful pictures and then put content out there. That trifecta created that result. So it wasn't just a marketing thing, a growth thing, kind of between. So we did that. We did the same thing um, with a sauce that we launched last year. We call it nafsiki. We didn't want to call it tzatziki in full transparency. That's more of a Greek term. But the number one question that we were getting asked about our sauces in social media and in contact us forms and stuff was, when are you going to launch like a tzatziki? And we're like, well, that's Greek. It's not really Middle Eastern. It's more Mediterranean. But everybody had the idea of like, how about a cucumber creamy sauce, right? So we took labna, which I don't know if you've had, but it's like
Yep.
it's a Middle Eastern cream cheese that is silky and delicious and tart. We reuse kind of our pickle or cucumbers that we already had as part of our chopped salad and their juice, and then or Chef John or culinary manager created something really delicious. We call it nafsiki, a very unique name, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But it was really a response of the number one question that we were getting asked. Number one sauce in our system is our garlic sauce. Everybody loves it. People can, bathtubs off of that if we were selling those. Immediately, the number two sauce, nafsiki, is the number two sauce in our system today, right? Is it because we're marketing just? No, but it was easy to make, culinary did a good job, easy to train, teams are executing it really well.
Make It Happen is the book I wish I had when I was operating restaurants. Inside are the lessons that took me 10 years to learn and 10 more years of teaching to perfect. I've condensed the most important lessons into this tiny book for building a big restaurant business. I am on a mission to improve restaurants all over the world. Because of that, I want to send you a free copy. Grab yours today at therestaurantboss.com.